Hello and welcome to our special presentation on the future of the Indian Railways, getting back on track. I'm Shireen Bhan. Over the next half hour, I'm going to take you through a conversation that I had with Railway Minister Suresh Prabhu and also bring to you some special reports on the big transportation buzz, Hyperloop. But to start things off, here's my interaction with the Railway Minister, who asserted that he will not set the bar low for the railways. In fact, he's confident of meeting all the targets for the current financial year. Remember, the Prime Minister's office has raised concerns about the slow pace of execution of some railway projects. Prabhu also saying that he will restructure the Indian Railways and modernize the infrastructure to make the national transporter future ready. But he says we need patience. It cannot happen overnight. Here's my special conversation. Mr. Prabhu, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. We saw the merger of the union budget and the railway budget, and this is the first time that you're actually speaking to us post that. Give me a sense of the outlook at this point in time. It's been a difficult period for the Indian Railways, whether it's as far as passenger fares are concerned, passenger revenue is concerned, or freight revenue is concerned. I don't want to get into the details, but you've pegged your revenue estimation at a growth of about 10% in the budget this year. Are you feeling confident of being able to achieve that number?
You know, I don't understand. You only give in your own channel the macroeconomic picture. And many times you keep saying that the core sector growth and other sector growths are not there. So, you know, freight is directly related to the amount of cargo available in the marketplace. So the growth will depend upon that. So therefore, despite all this, in the first few months, we had a very difficult time because there was no coal movement had gone down, steel movement had gone down, cement movement had gone down, iron ore movement had gone down, the major 5 commodities. So we have decided the strategy for a long-term change. That is to go beyond coal. We have completely revamped our entire freight policy. We have completely reduced the rate. We have actually changed the rate, and the result of that now you can see in the next 3 months. January, February, March. January we recorded the highest ever loading in any January of any previous year. So that is showing. February is also good, which is ending today, but it is far better. March also is expected to be even better, and therefore the next year will be far, far better. But this year, the revenue target will depend on, as I said, macro, but despite that, we have done far better than the market condition that are prevailing.
You've missed your own estimates. You've missed the estimates by quite a margin, sir. But let me ask you then.
No, but that's what let me correct it first. No, let me get into that first. So where is when you prepare estimate, what is the basis of estimate? The basis of estimate is what the industry gives you. Sure. We talk to each and every industry segment. If the steel industry says that they are going to transport so much of cement, the steel industry says we are going to transport so much of cement. Coal industry says we are going to transport so much of coal. The estimates are based on that. It's not my estimate. Sure. It's the estimate given by the industry. We are a transporter. Try to understand. I am not making revenues by doing something internally within the railways. Sure. The railways, because a transporter anywhere in the world, their revenue targets are dependent upon what your customers are going to handle. Right. If the customer themselves don't come forward and try to meet their own revenue projections, how are you expecting the railways to do it? Sure. So are they giving you a different picture? Are they seeming more confident today, sir? Absolutely. That's what I'm saying, that you are seeing the results in last 3 months. So please try to understand, this is not my revenue target. Absolutely. So therefore, the revenue targets are given by the people who are going to transport the cargo. So please try to put into perspective, because it's always a good habit to criticize somebody else, but try to understand, put in the perspective. You yourself are saying that cement industry is not doing well. You are going the corporate results of steel industry. So they are the ones who are giving the targets to us. In terms of one development that the markets are keenly awaiting, and that is the decision to actually look at monetizing and unlocking value through the disinvestment process. The finance minister has made that announcement in his budget speech. Where do things currently stand, and how soon can we expect movement on the listing of the 3 railway entities that he articulated? Yesterday, because that's what you like to do, because you know, next time you again will ask me, you said like this, so yesterday would have been the ideal one. But try to understand, this is a continuous process. I had said in my last budget speech that we are going to put it, we are going to create a Holdco, we are going to unlock the value. Is the Holdco idea now over and done with, sir? Because they're talking about now listing these entities independently. Listing can be done. Listing and Holdco are 2 different things. The Holdco has nothing to do with listing. Listing of an entity and the holding companies are completely different things. If the Tatas have got several listed companies, doesn't mean they don't have a holding company. So the holding company idea is still on the table? No, so the holding company idea is still on the table? No, that's different thing. That's why I'm not going to that today. I'm just telling you is So this is a continuous process of thinking in the government to want to unlock the values. So therefore we are already initiated a process last year itself. We have talked to a lot of companies to do the valuation of some of the companies. This is not this year. This year we have done last year. We are trying to find out the best possible way to get value to the country as a whole, to the exchequer. That's why we don't want to just disinvest for the sake of disinvesting.
Sure.
We want to do it to make sure that railways get money, Government of India gets money, the shareholders get money, and the country as a whole also benefits from this unlocking of the asset. So therefore, it's already on the track.
Okay. So let me ask you then about the capital expenditure outlay, and this is the highest that we've actually seen at over 1,30,000 crores, and even the gross budgetary support at 55,000 crores. You've also been pretty innovative in trying to raise funds off budgets. What is the expectation now in being able to, whether it's electrification, doubling of tracks and so on and so forth, what can we expect now on that front in terms of the infrastructure push by way of the railways?
Firstly, there is to be, again, putting the perspective. The typical capital budget of the railways is to be in the region of 30,000 to 40,000 crores for years together. It has never exceeded that number. We increased to 1 lakh crore and we spent 94,000 crores when we actually bet them. Last year is 1,11,000 crores and we are very close to it, maybe few thousand less than that. This year, again 1,31,000 crores, where is it coming from? The finance minister has provided from the gross budget support only 55,000.
Yeah.
So where is the balance 66,000 coming from? It is coming from extra budget resources, which the finance minister is saying in his budget speech, but who is going to raise it is we are going to raise it. So that means the railways have done something exceptional in the last 2.5 years of 3,50,000 crores of capex. Most of it, substantial part of it, is going to be raised outside of the budget. So this is a great achievement in itself, that we have been able to do that, where the railways have never done that before. So just imagine in just 2.5 years we could do that in a substantial manner. Most of the money will go into doubling, tripling, electrification, partly station redevelopment, retrofitting of our coaches, that's the rolling stock, laying the tracks, of course that's part of the safety fund, but all of this safety fund is different than this. So just imagine the amount of capex that we are going to do it in the next, we have already done it. In fact, just imagine 94,000 crores, even though it was more than 100% more than the previous year. 1,11,000 crores is another 17,000 more than the previous year. This year 1,31,000 crores. So all that put together, the cumulative effect of that on the capex. Another thing about a capex. See, when you start a project, which is 5-year timeline, in 5 years, first year you spend 10%, next year you spend 20%, third year you spend 35%. So in that progression it happens. So just imagine the project which was started last year, year before last. This year we spend only 20%, this year we'll spend 30%. The project which was started last year, this will again will spend 20%, this year 20%. So cumulative effect of all this will be felt in the next year essentially, but after 4 years substantially. And then you can see the real consequence of all the capital expenditure that is happening on the ground.
So one of the big ticket ideas that the budget presented, which pertains to your ministry, is the Railway Security Fund, or the Railway Security Coach that has been set up with a target of 1 lakh crores over the next 5 years. Are you looking at some of the innovations that you've brought in to raise money off budget, even as far as the Railway Security Fund itself is concerned?
Let me again give a little historical background. This idea was proposed 1.5 years ago. I mean, almost as soon as I became the minister, I returned to the finance minister, and we have been negotiating since then. Now, finance minister agreed to put 75% into this. The balance 25%, you are absolutely right. There are many ways by which you can raise this money, and you are absolutely right, and I really appreciate it, that we'll try to use some innovative ideas to make it happen.
By when can we expect you to give us some sense of what these ideas could be, sir?
So, we are already, you are seeing the ideas getting implemented. You are seeing that when I told you, first time I remember, 2.5 years ago, when I said we are going to have 1 lakh crore budget, you said, where is the money? We got the money. We spent 94,000 crores when the budget was hardly only 40,000 crores. Last year, again, we spent more than that. This year, again, the finance minister himself is saying that 55,000 crores only is going to come from the budget. Balance is going to be raised by the railways. So he has also the confidence in our ability to raise money. So what I believe in is not to just make announcement, but to do something on a ground, on concrete. So when we do it, you will be the first one to know.
Well, that's good to know, sir. As far as the railway development or the railway tariff authority is concerned, we didn't see the budget make any specific reference to that. Is that an idea that is still being considered, will be taken forward?
There are a lot of interministerial consultations which are going on. In fact, it is very advanced stage. I hope that it should be gone through. We are working on several different dimensions of that, but I think this is already on track.
Okay. Let me also then ask you about what would be the immediate priority. There have been some concerns on slow execution of some projects and so on and so forth. At this point in time, as you try and meet the target that you'd set for yourself in this year, whether it's electrification, tracks and so on and so forth, what do you foresee as the big challenges? Because you've got pretty ambitious targets that you've laid out for yourself in 2017 as well.
As far as we are concerned, we have already raised the speed of implementation by more than double in the course of last 2 years. So that is something which is acknowledged. We keep setting higher and higher standards for ourselves. The bar should be higher only because we have so much of backlog of so many decades. So therefore we set it high. It's always challenging. It's not easy to set such high target. I could have also waited and said I will not spend only 30,000-40,000 crores. I stick my neck out. I am taking the target. Why?
I remember our headline. I remember our headline from 2.5 years ago when you said that you want to break the cycle of underinvestment that the railways have been stuck in.
I have to understand, Shirin. It is very easy for me to set very low standards and low targets. I am deliberately doing it because I am challenging the organization to do it. So we are delegated the powers. We are trying to do it, but there are certain bottlenecks. But I can tell you with the certainty that 31st March 2016-17 target will definitely meet. Of course, the overall number of it. Maybe doubling may slowly come down, but tripling may increase, something like this. But numerically, whatever number of kilometers and everything we have said will definitely achieve.
Yeah, I want to ask you a quick question as far as the operating ratio is concerned at about 94.5%, sir. And I understand that whether it was the 7th Pay Commission or it was on account of the Bonus Act, that has been a substantial burden as far as the railways resources are concerned. But in the coming year now, with some of that perhaps easing, what do you see the picture looking like?
Basically, again, you must put it, operating ratio, I think something we get stuck with the past. The operating ratio, when it was calculated about 100 years ago, since then we are talking about that. The world has changed. We need to look at finding out the railways efficiency on different parameters. This year, the social service obligation has been all-time high, never been in the railways history. 30 to 35,000 crores is just public service obligation. Number two, the freight has never been as bad. And this is not only India. China had a negative growth of freight. Negative growth. China, which is the largest freight handler in the world. Negative growth of freight for the railways. Thirdly, we had unprecedented burden of pay commission, which has been the highest ever than any previous pay commission in 1 year. We have the highest burden of bonus because the railway is the largest employer. So when you increase the ceiling of bonus, obviously the biggest sufferer was railways. But despite all this, what railways financial performance is far, far better than what it would have been otherwise. Thanks to, we saved 4,000 crores on account of energy bill. We are rationalizing the productivity of all the employees. We have done the first time in railways history, we have done human resource audit by Deloitte. We are actually we are in the process of looking into this. We are trying to work out the complete transparent system by which the lot of money has been saved because we are doing e-tendering almost 100%. So all of these measures have added to improving productivity, efficiency, taking away the slippages. Another target we have put for ourselves, 41,000 crores of saving of electricity, the energy bill in the next 10 years. And this has been vetted by global agencies. So this is something we can imagine what transformation it will bring into the railways. On the other hand, we have put 17,500 crores target for non-fare revenue at the end of the 10 years. It will happen now, but at the end of 10 years it will be 17,500. In addition to this, we will raise from railway station redevelopment at least 10,000 crores. So all of this is going to be added. So what you are asking me, in terms of structural changes of railways finances, these are the issues which are going to impact productivity improvement, efficiency improvement, non-fare revenue, reducing costs, rationalizing the entire operation. So this is like we are in the process of restructuring the entire railway organization. So it's going to be, then we have set up a transformation cell in the railways by our own people to look at each and every function of the railway. So all these are transformative measures. You cannot see the results by asking every 15 days what happens about it. But I'm sure when you ask me, what I'm giving you is all under implementation.
Let me then end by asking you, sir, in terms of the big ticket projects, last question, freight corridors, the metro projects that are around the country, give us a sense of what we should realistically expect in 2017.
See, dedicated
high-speed rail as well.
See, that dedicated freight corridor is already at the advanced stage of implementation. World Bank has sent me recently a letter saying that we have never seen a progress like this. of the, because they are the financing agencies for the dedicated freight corridors. This is World Bank saying. Number two, on our high-speed railway, we have done a lot of progress, and that is also at a very advanced stage. I think we are hoping that the work, as it is, when we agreed with the Japanese, this work was supposed to start in 2018. We are on track of doing that. Thirdly, we are in the process of started thinking on new dedicated freight corridors. Number four, we have started a station redevelopment program, which is one of the biggest in the world. And we already 23 stations already set on motion. 7, 8 are getting constructed. Another 40 will be offering for public. Again, you try to understand. We cannot dump all the entire stations at the same time. And the real estate market, you know it. Yeah. The real estate market. So you always are guided by the market condition, which is not in my hand. So when the real estate market is not doing well, we have to also keep that in mind. Also, the entire process of state government involvement.
The joint ventures.
10 states have made a joint venture agreement. 10 states. Everybody was laughing at me when I said we are going to do this, including Kerala, the state which does not belong to my party. So all of that put together, you can imagine the implementation of high-speed. This is why we are doing. So this is the only ministry in which you can ask me question about operating ratio. This is the only ministry when you can ask me question about raising finances on my own. No other ministry does that. This is the only ministry when you will ask me the question about infrastructure project. It's the only ministry in which you will ask me about a customer satisfaction. It is the only ministry you will ask me question about a high number of people, that's why human resources. So this is an unparalleled amount of work that is happening. I can assure you one thing, that on all fronts we are working. The results are also visible on many counts, but I am not satisfied with the type of end product I envisage with the Prime Minister's vision. That will happen while we complete our first cycle of 5 years investment, because that's what it takes that much time. In China it happened. Anywhere in the world, the railway infrastructure upgradation has always taken at least a few cycles. The first cycle has taken 5 years anywhere. So we are working on that.
Mr. Prabhu, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Thank you very much, and here's wishing you the very best of luck. Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you always.
Thank you, sir. Well, from managing a legacy railway system to embracing the future that seems to be out of a sci-fi novel, the Railway Ministry is in talks with players to bring Hyperloop to India. Globally, there are a handful of players working on this technology, and 2 of them, incidentally, are in India this week. We bring you those stories when we return.